people complain more than they show contentment is a result of, because in the church, there's a lot of praisers for what he's done and not who he is. And this one, when I was sitting there for a little while, I heard someone say, we're going to set the atmosphere. We're going to worship. And I heard maybe 2 or 3 worshipers. I don't need, and I love that there's no musicians here. Because if those musicians on those organs, they could play really loud and that would just get that feeling up inside you that everybody wants to raise their hand. But when there's no musicians, who can worship me? Not because of what I'm doing, but for who I am. Neither is, it's not bad to be a praiser. It's not that this praising is bad and worshiping is better, but everything that has breath can praise the Lord. But he that worships must worship in spirit and in truth. For most people who are what he's done praisers only praise because they are content in the things he's supplying and not the supplier. But worshipers worship him just for who he is. Because if we worship him for who he is, we wouldn't necessarily need the hype man in church to set the atmosphere. We wouldn't need just to be in church to praise God. Our only time praising wouldn't just be on Sundays. We would walk like Jesus. We would talk like Jesus. We would act like Jesus. A lot of people don't worship, first off, because they don't obey the Spirit of God. So when we come to church on Sundays, they can only get excited about the parts where we preach what God has done, what he's about to do. It's hard for them to get excited about having to change their mindset or their posture of their heart to obtain what God is trying to get into their hand. And then there's worshiping in truth. We wonder why people act like they act, talk like they act, and because the truth is not a part of them. They're hearers of the word, but not doers. There is a time put into the word, reading the word, renewing their mind, listening and meditating on God. Therefore, when we come to church and the message isn't about coming out of a trial or obtaining a financial blessing or something tangible, they kind of tune it out. It's as if it's of no value. They're praisers for what he's doing, but not worshipers for who he is. He wants us to prosper and be in good health as our soul prospers. But the thing is, when our faith is not the foundation, we begin to focus on what we see. So when we're not prospering in money, in the hottest cars, in the latest clothes, it seems as if our soul isn't prospering. I want the cars, I want the clothes, I want the money, but I haven't learned contentment. I want the money, I want to receive from God, but I'm not a true giver. Now this was a big one for me, and I know a lot of churches, not church people, but people in the church don't like to talk about giving tithes. I've talked to numerous people, and it's like, I'm not giving the church my money. That's for the pastor's car and all that good stuff. And I simply asked them, do you not think that pastors is paying his tithes as well? For we read scriptures like God's going to open up the windows of heaven and pour us out a blessing. We want the windows to pour out, but we don't want to do what it takes to get them to pour out. Show God your contentment in any situation. That God, I know I'm broke, but I'm content that you have been sustaining me. My relationship is not where it needs to be with such and such, but you're still sustaining us. Our souls are put on hold for our flesh because we desire tangible things more so than the fruits of the Spirit. When in all reality, tangible things only become a bonus when you get the soul where it needs to be. Therefore, the church is full of, once again, what he's done, praises, and not who he is. And this next thing,
that's good.
I tear it with a little bit because I didn't want to step on no toes, but God said, I need this to be said. He showed me, he said, where a lot of people are preaching some people in the congregation out of things that God has ordained for them to stay in so that they can learn the spirit of contentment. A lot of things we continually go through because we haven't learned what we needed to learn. I've been broke so long. Well, maybe it ain't God. Maybe you need to stop getting your nails did and your hair done and manage your money better so that you can sustain what you do have. Maybe you need to take a break from the Jordans and the flashy clothing to manage your money in a way that you can have that abundance and financial blessings. I'm talking to myself right there. And because a lot of pastors, they prophesy a lot of tangible things when the congregation isn't as mature in their faith as they need to be, they get discouraged because the tangible things that are being prophesied aren't manifesting as they thought it would.
Yes.
And because they're not manifesting, it kind of misconstrues with their conduct, the way that they're acting.
That's good. So true. So true.
Woo. God told me, he said, there's a lot of churches on every corner. Some are packed, some aren't. He said some people in these churches possess the characteristics of Jesus and some don't. But it isn't that the churches aren't packed because the pastor isn't a great pastor, but he said it's the pastors aren't content with the amount of people that they have in their congregation. He said they're preaching for numbers, for quantity, and not quality. He said, in this season, I need pastors to focus on the quality that they have right now. I need to make the quality out of what they have. He says, yes, they preach what I tell them, but they critique it in the way that it ends up becoming an entertaining message to keep adding members. For a lot of preachers preach coming out of this and out of that and going to get this or get that, but not how they can sustain it, or how they can endure the trial, endure the backbiting, or endure the afflictions. Therefore, since we are telling them about Jesus himself and not the methods of Jesus, we're sending church goers out to do discipleship work.
That's good right there.
We have a lot. We wonder why we don't bring people in because the people we're sending out aren't up to the quality that they need to be. In 1 Corinthians, Paul was saying, he said, I plant, Apollos waters, and God gives the increase. There are members in a lot of churches don't have a lot of members, but when we plant as speakers and they go out, if they are being changed by what we are planting, their lives will be changing the people around them that are outside of the life, outside of the church's lives, what will make those people curious as to why you don't curse like you used to, why you don't go out with me like you used to. And then that is what brings the increase into the house of God.
Yes.
Because we have entertained, because we have prophesied so much tangible stuff, God's purpose for us is being taken from being like him to just obtaining things from him. Therefore, when people come into the church, they don't want to hear when we try to tell them the biblical ways to live, because all they've heard is what God can do for them.
You teach it. You own it.
They just want the cars and the clothes. See, in today's times, we know the person of Jesus and all that he offers, but we don't want to take the time to do the methods of Jesus. For I heard a pastor say the person of Jesus gets you to heaven, but the methods and the ways of Jesus can get you prosperity on this earth. When we water what we have here, whether it's few or many, they begin to take the persona of God with them, and it rubs off on the people outside of the church. For I have it right here, but I see when I walked in, where 2 and 3 are gathered, God is in the midst. And I'm preaching this contentment right now, but I have a test tomorrow at 6 o'clock. God granted me the opportunity to start a Bible study at West Georgia with the entire athletics department. Glory to God. And thank you. And I've sent out my flyers. I've did all that good stuff. People told me they're coming, but at the same time, I actually don't know who's coming tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Amen. It could be 1, it could be 100, it could be 200. I don't know. But am I going to be content with that 2? Come on. Yes. As much as I will be content with that 200. Yes. But I've made that vow to God. God, if it's 2 or if it's 200, I'm pouring out into them, whether it's that or whether it's a lot or few. That's right. Come on. So today, out of all that I've said, I want you to just try to take your eyes off your situation. Or for that matter, if it's a situation that you've been going through for a lot, look back over that situation or those situations and see what have you been doing the same thing, or what could you do possibly different spiritually that can help you get what you're asking God for tangibly. Because I don't have all the money I want. I don't have the best housing that I want. But I know that in my next season, I'm making sure that in every aspect that I can, that I sow the right seeds. The people that I encounter in that, I'm making sure I spread love, whether I like them or not. Yes. Because I know what I sow in this season, I'm going to reap in the next. And I tell you, I really am passionate about God and the way that he ministers to me in anything. I can be anywhere and he'll just start showing me things, and to be in that accordance with him is like no other. That the way that he showed, the way where you feel like you've gotten to where you need to be in a certain point or a certain phase, and he breaks something down, something else down to you. So, and I speak in September again, and he given me the topic of faith, and I'm kind of not scared, but I'm like, what am I not having faith in, or what am I not applying works to sustain something? Come on, Jesus. Get that relationship with God. I spoke last time on relationship, not religion, because it's a relationship with God that gets you to him.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
And before I take my seat, I just want to thank this church for having me. I want to thank this church for being an initial starting point for the anointing that God has placed on my life. I'll forever love this place. I'll forever honor the man and woman for God for allowing me to take the position that they will have on this Sunday to speak. And to the youth, try your best to take your eyes off what, not take your eyes off what you have, but be content in what you have. For your parents, I promise you, they are doing the best they can to put you in the best that they can. So if you don't have the latest shoes, you don't have the latest clothes, you know what? You clean that shoe every day and you keep that shoe clean. Show God, I don't have the best, but when I do get the best, I'm going to know how to take care of it because I take care of it right now. Be content. Be content, because it's a lot more to life than cars, shoes, and clothes. And I'm still learning that right now, because I still like to buy Jordans. I still like to buy Jordans, but I'm learning that. And with that being said, I hope something was said